Tonight,
that will allow us to make America great again.
reaction to Donald Trump's presidential victory. More details on another organization attempting to influence Regina's civic election. Pet parents are needed after an increase of puppies at Regina's Humane Society.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Wednesday, November the 6th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening and thank you for watching. Another third-party organization trying to sway voters in Regina's municipal election is coming under fire. This time from a candidate they appear to support. Alexander Kwan brings us the story.
So I don't want people to perceive that I'm being either funded or affiliated with Advance Regina.
That's how a candidate for City Council in Regina started a news conference on Wednesday. Former Saskatchewan Roughrider Dan Rasevich says he wanted to distance himself from an organization attempting to endorse him. Advance Regina sent out advertising with check marks next to Rasevich's name, implying he'd cancel the planned construction of a new aquatic center and avoid woke issues. Rasevich says he responded to a questionnaire and thought nothing of it.
A lot of issues are not a yes/no. So this flyer went out and there's inaccuracies that I want to clarify. You know, first time I saw it was when I had a constituent email it to me and questioning me on the mail out, and I said, and I saw it, oh my God, you know.
Advance Regina has said on social media that it will recruit, train, and support candidates in the civic election. Over the last 3 years, the anonymous group has been running thousands of dollars worth of advertising on social media and billboard campaigns, complaining about crime, taxes, and city services. Its latest efforts are these mailers. It's not clear how many of the city's 10 wards are targeted or who they've recruited, and Advance Regina didn't respond to interview requests. But a previous CBC investigation found 3 men behind it had significant ties to the federal Conservatives and/or the Saskatchewan Party. Third-party organizations have been trying to influence this election, targeting incumbents like Mayor Sandra Masters and forcing candidates to deny any ties.
I have no attachment to any group. I am running a grassroots campaign.
CBC News attempted to speak with another candidate identified in an Advance Regina mailer. George Sickless told us he would not talk about it and then hung up. He did not respond to further requests for comment. Regina residents head to the polls on November 13th. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Now, Saskatchewan people will be casting 2 ballots in the upcoming elections next week, one for City Council and the other to elect school board trustees. Shlok Chalati has more on why the latter is getting so much attention.
While the race for mayor usually gets the most attention in civic elections, experts say school board races are sparking more conversations than ever.
This is fantastic because the last election, we had 21% voter turnout. The previous was 20%. So I think this year is going to be not substantially more, but definitely more.
People can choose to vote for trustees in the public or separate school board, not both. And more people say they're focusing on what these candidates stand for.
Just making sure to pick the right people who include everyone in their plans and thoughts. And yeah, other than that, just that's really my main one, yeah.
The school board ballots are on the same one as council and mayor. The Saskatchewan School Board Association says people need to vote because of the role that trustees play.
School boards are one of the oldest democratic traditions in Saskatchewan, one of the oldest forms of democracy.
Among other things, school boards consult and help develop programs and policies unique to their schools. That can include things like sexual education, equity, diversity and inclusion, and LGBTQS+ issues.
We are hearing there is this trend towards the increasing politicization and polarization of education, of politics, of those kinds of things. We do see that. I think it falls to our collective understanding about what school board governance is to really have a conversation about that. It's really important that our school boards remain independent and keep their focus very laser focused on what's best for kids.
This Ward 9 public school candidate in Saskatoon is concerned about such endorsements.
I think ultimately voters need to go find the information directly from the source and don't rely on other people to tell you how to vote.
You don't need to have children to vote. You just need to be 18, a Canadian citizen, have lived in Saskatchewan for 6 months, and lived in your city for 3 months. Shlok Talati, CBC News, Regina.
Donald Trump has made a stunning comeback, reclaiming the U.S. presidency after a 4-year absence.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good.
It could take some time for results to determine which party has won the House of Representatives, but the Republicans are leading slightly at this point. They've already won control of the Senate for the first time in 4 years, and it looks like Trump will win the popular vote as well as the Electoral College. He's now the first president in U.S. history to win non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland in 1897. The Democrats' presidential candidate has now conceded defeat in the election. Here's part of what Kamala Harris had to say.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
So many people in or from Saskatchewan have connections to this U.S. election, and we heard from them today on CBC Radio 1's Blue Sky. Frank Buckley was born in Saskatoon and grew up in Yorkton. Now a law professor, he's written speeches for Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. in the past. And American citizen Cheryl Camillo has extensive experience working on U.S. election campaigns. She's now a professor at the Johnson Shoyama Graduate School of Public Policy in Regina.
Trump is a lot smarter, or at least has better political sense than most of the people on the conservative side here, the Heritage Society folks. So we'll wait to see what happens in that respect. You know, the funny thing about all this is from the left is they'll pick up on buzzwords, right? 2025 is a buzzword. You know, we don't have to know a damn thing about what's in it. All we have to know is that it's on the wrong side, and therefore, you know, we're going to flip on that one. We're going to go crazy on that one. But you know, here I am. I'm the guy originally from Saskatchewan who worked on the Trump campaign. And whilst it's the case that so many people on your listeners seem to think, not merely is it horrible, but it could happen here. Right? You should be so lucky is my view.
My family still lives in Buffalo, and I'm concerned for them. My nephew, my niece, my great niece are all partially African American, and I fear for them. But I believe about half of Americans want to live in the world of reality TV and not in the real world. And what I mean by that is they want to be like Donald Trump in that they can do whatever they want, whenever they want to, so they can take what they want, they can grab what they want, and get away with it, have complete immunity and no legal restrictions or consequences or need to apologize. And I think they want to be him, and that's why they support him.
You can read more of our election coverage on the CBC News website and at cbcnews.ca/sask. It is day 3 of a Regina area chiropractor sexual assault trial at Court of King's Bench. Ruben Mans is accused of sexually assaulting several patients over a decade. And this week, we're hearing testimony from the complainants. Jeffrey Tram is following the case in court.
Ruben Mans is a chiropractor accused of sexually assaulting 7 of his patients. It allegedly happened here at Mans' clinic in Regina. The alleged assaults took place between 2012 and 2019. The jury was selected Monday. On Tuesday and Wednesday, witnesses started sharing their experiences. 2 of them told the jury that Mans inappropriately groped up during their treatments. At one point, one told the court that Mans reached inside her bra and lifted her breast. Under cross-examination Wednesday, one of the women was asked about her understanding of chiropractic treatment. She was under the care of Mans in 2006. She was also asked why it took her 15 years to report to police. She told the court she wanted to be sure what happened was a crime. The jury trial is scheduled to continue all month at Court of King's Bench in Regina. Jeffrey Tram, CBC News, Regina.
Well, driving home last night, we hoped it would not accumulate, but it did. The first true snowfall of the season, and it made for quite an icy drive to work this morning. So, will all that snow stick around? I say all that snow, it's not that much snow. Or will Mother Nature put us back on the temperature roller coaster? Ethan will have your forecast after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Public service veterans were honored at the Saskatchewan Legislature today. It was part of the annual service of Remembrance for the public service. This year marks the 10th anniversary of the conclusion of Canadian military operations in Afghanistan, 80th anniversary of the D-Day landings, and the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Two veterans who were in attendance say it's important to remember.
Very few soldiers ever joined up for, fame and glory, but what they were hoping was that they would not be forgotten. And so every November the 11th, we gather together and we remember. And that's why we say we will remember them. And I think it's important to do that.
It's important that we spend this week remembering our veterans. Over 118,000 of them did not come home. Many, many more of them either suffered physical or psychological wounds. And they came back and helped build this country. There's a reason that our veterans of the Second World War were known as the greatest generation for what they did to create Canada as it is now.
After the service, Premier Scott Moe laid a wreath at the Saskatchewan War Memorial. The memorial lists the names of Saskatchewan's fallen service people from the First and Second World Wars, the Korean War, the war in Afghanistan, and peacetime and peacekeeping operations across the globe. A cool day for the Saskatchewan Roughriders out on the field at Mosaic Stadium as they prep for the West Final in Winnipeg. Saskatchewan topped the CFL with a +26 turnover ratio, its best since 1994. The Riders forced a CFL best 49 opponent giveaways this season. In their last meeting with Winnipeg, the Riders didn't force a single turnover. Defensive back CJ Rivas, who was back at practice today, says that turnover ratio in Winnipeg is going to matter, and the defense is set on it.
I think it'll be a big factor in the game. It's playoff football, so as getting as many possessions as you can, it matters. Getting the ball, something we do very well. So I think that'll be a big part of the game for sure.
Turnovers are definitely an important part of the game. You saw last week against BC, we were able to create turnovers, and that's going to be the battle of the game. So you got to make sure we capitalize on those opportunities.
It's mandatory to win these type of games. Last time we played them, I don't think we had a turnover. So. No telling what that would have done in that game. So it's important that we make sure we continue to take away the ball as much as we can to get our offensive ball back.
Also back to practice today, Brian Cox Jr. and Kian Schaefer-Baker. The Riders have not won in Winnipeg since 2018, and it is a hostile environment. Coach Mace is not counting his team out, though. He says they are doing their best to mimic the crowd noise heading into the West Final. Kickoff in Winnipeg is at 5:30 on Saturday. Meanwhile, in Winnipeg, it's a little sunnier, a little warmer. The forecast for Saturday is sunshine and a high of 12 degrees. Inside Princess Auto Stadium, the Blue Bombers are also preparing, hoping to send themselves to the Grey Cup for the 5th year in a row.
We're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to have enough plays on the call sheet for Buck to roll through, and in a very short order, we're going to figure out how they're trying to attack us, and we're going to pivot our game plan and our calls to figure out how to attack them back.
It's playoff football. You got to leave it all out there. Effort every play. Every down. Any chance you get out there to make a play or just push them right around or do your job, you got to do it to 110%. I mean, we got to leave it all out there because, I mean, it's win or go home.
They're a hard-nosed football team. You know, they're going to come out and they're going to play physical. They're also well coached. You know, you always learn that playing a team back-to-back, like you said, coming out with some new things. So that's what we're expecting going forward in this game. They're going to play hard and they'll have a new wrinkle for us. We got to figure it out and play hard football.
The weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. Year-end clearance is on now.
Our weather specialist, Ethan Williams, joins me now. Better that it snowed here than in Winnipeg because the weather could be helpful for the Riders.
Yeah, sure could. And yeah, I think a lot of that snow that fell here yesterday will be making its way sort of into Manitoba, but I don't think they're quite getting what we ended up getting here in the province. Just to give you an idea, here was the webcam out at, this is at Gull Lake, yesterday afternoon, and you skip to kind of the same time today. Well, the skies have cleared away, the snow is gone. Still a little bit of snow in the ditches just to the south of here, though, in the Cypress Hills, 10 to 15 centimeters with some snow drifts picking up there. But for much of the rest of southern Saskatchewan, we were kind of in that 1 to 3 centimeter range. Yeah, it's still sticking on the ground in some places, including in Regina, because we only managed to get to around the freezing mark for daytime highs today. And for some of us out west where the sunshine came out, we did get a little higher, up around 5 degrees, but this unfortunately was kind of the best we managed. Things are about to change very drastically, though. We have this upper ridge building in the jet stream, and that's going to bring some very warm weather our way through a good chunk of the province as we get into these next few days here. Pattern breaks down a little bit into the weekend, but the jet stream's still flowing right over southern Saskatchewan. Usually as we get into this time of year, we start to see it drop a little bit further south. But the other thing that's going to help those temperatures is the wind direction. They've been blowing from the south through the day today. Those kind of stay from a westerly direction, especially through southern parts of the province as we head into tomorrow. Winds picking up a little bit over these next couple of days as we do have a system that's going to be moving through northern Saskatchewan, which is bringing some snow through overnight tonight. But for south and central, the weather for us going to be fairly quiet over these next few days. Here's that system that begins moving in overnight. It's mostly far northern Saskatchewan. I think this will mostly transition over to snow. Wet snow, I think, is mostly what we're going to be seeing. Then by tomorrow afternoon, high pressure, that is what is keeping things calm and clear through south and central. Another round of snow early Friday morning for the far north. It's not going to be very much. And then things stay quiet for the first part of the weekend, maybe a little bit of increasing cloudiness as we head into Saturday. And even for northern Saskatchewan, I think here snowfall amount's going to be limited to maybe 2 to 4 centimeters. We're not looking for warning level criteria snowfall here. If we get some rain falling, could be in the range of maybe 3 to 5 millimeters, but again, especially as we get overnight, I think that's mostly going to be transitioning over into some flakes flying into that part of the province. So here is that very nice forecast for Regina. We have a chilly night overnight Thursday into Friday, but boy, temperatures, for this time of year are going to be well above seasonal. Not often we get into double-digit territory in November, but we'll be seeing that these next few days. Temperatures will take a slide as we head into the back end of the weekend. The winds pick up a little bit, but you can see we're not really expecting any moisture over that first part of next week. Saskatoon and central Saskatchewan, there's some places that could get near 15 tomorrow for highs. Breezy through these next few days here. I think maybe Sunday there's a possibility of some showers in there. And those overnight lows, normally this time of year, closer to -10 in some spots, Sam, but we may actually be above the freezing mark sometimes.
I'm even looking at Monday's forecast for Remembrance Day and all those outdoor ceremonies that you've been to in the past where you're basically walking in the craziest snowsuit because it's so cold, and you won't need that on Monday if the forecast holds.
No, I think outdoor services can pretty much go ahead unhindered.
All right. Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
And liftoff. Go SpaceX, go Falcon, go Sierra.
This wooden satellite was launched into space from Cape Canaveral, Florida yesterday. Scientists hope to determine whether timber could be used in exploration of the moon and Mars. The satellite will head to the International Space Station and will later be released into orbit about 400 kilometers above the Earth, and it will stay there for 6 months. Electronic components on the satellite will measure how wood endures the extreme environment of space. Neat. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Puppies are taking up a lot of space and getting a lot of attention at the Regina Humane Society this week. The animal shelter urgently needs homes for puppies to make room for others they're anticipating as the weather gets colder.
We've seen an awful lot of puppies come in, which is something that is really unusual. I mean, we do get puppies in, for sure, but usually they're adopted quite quickly, and we never seem to have, too many at the same time. So this is a first where last week we had upwards of 40 to 45 puppies in our care. Last I looked, which was yesterday afternoon, we had 32, and we've had a few go home today, I know already, so hopefully those numbers are getting a little bit better, but it's something that's really, really unusual. I know our executive director has been here for 30 plus years. First time she's ever seen a problem with puppies and getting them home. To help things out a little bit, we have reduced our adoption fees. Puppies can be adopted for just $75. That's normally up around $300, but it still includes spay-neuter surgery and vaccinations, tattoo, and microchip, and a post-adoption veterinary exam too, which if you were paying for that on your own, would probably be north of $800 for sure, so that's all included even at the $75 fee. And adult cats and kittens, kittens are involved at that $75 rate as well, and adult cats and dogs can be adopted for just $25. So we still want people to think about adopting, make sure they're ready for it. They've got the time, the resources to look after the animal that they want to adopt. But we've taken a little bit of the financial pressure away. So maybe you can use that to buy some toys or some food and that kind of stuff to make sure that they're extra happy.
And Ethan, if you saw a puppy that you like, you can head to the Humane Society or check it out online and help them out with space and maybe take home a furry friend.
Yeah. That's a tough act to follow, having to do the weather after all that.
Just be extra cute.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, how's this for being cute? We got some nice weather on the way. We got -1 overnight tonight in Regina. A little bit breezy at times, but clouds will clear out tomorrow morning. We're already over the freezing mark by 8 a.m. That's gorgeous. And by the noon hour, already at 7 degrees. We're on our way to probably crack the double digits in Regina. Same in Saskatoon. We got mainly clear skies overnight tonight. By tomorrow morning at 3 degrees under those mostly sunny skies. And look at this, by the noon hour, 12 degrees. Yeah, a bit of a breeze at times, but not too bad. So fall, maybe a little bit of summer, making a bit of a return here, Sam.
It's not a fluffy puppy, but I'll take it.
Yeah, there you go.
Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
And that is it for us tonight. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask. You can subscribe to the CBC Saskatchewan YouTube channel or go download the CBC News app. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.